China, Shaanxi province. A few kilometers outside the city of Xi'an. Just another day on another busy highway in the world's fastest growing economy. Until the highway suddenly becomes a runway. Over the next 45 minutes, a team of experts steers a small drone aircraft over Shaanxi's farmlands and brings it back to Earth. Retrieving its precious payload. Images of an astonishing world. A world of mega marvels. Hundreds of earthen mounds rising above the farmlands near Xi'an. Some merely large, others gigantic. What's buried inside them is mostly unknown. But who's inside isn't any mystery. These are the tombs of emperors, generals, lords and ladies, some of the richest and most powerful people who ever lived on Earth. "2,000 years ago, these peaceful farmlands ran with blood as armies clashed and dynasties rose and fell. They rang with music and laughter as China's nobility reveled in all life's pleasures. And they echoed with the sounds of toil as thousands of workers built massive pyramid tombs, monuments of a splendid world even death couldn't end."
These tombs were symbols of power, they were symbols of wealth, they were symbols of political legitimacy. They said everything about how a person lived in their lifetime. They said it for eternity. To put it simply, we could say, I've got the biggest tomb, I'm the best.
It's a rare event when archaeologists open one of these mega tombs, giving experts like architectural historian Tonja Eckfeldt a look inside. So many mysteries still lie beneath the earth. But one thing is clear. Centuries ago, building these tombs was a mega challenge. To satisfy their emperors, engineers had to move millions of tons of earth, dig huge holes dozens of meters deep, and cover them with man-made mountains. How did they do it? The year is 246 BC. China doesn't exist. Instead, 7 small kingdoms fight each other for supremacy. In one of them, called Qin, a new king has just inherited the throne. He's only 13 years old. But one of his first acts as king is to order the construction of his tomb. To us, 13 might seem a little young to be worrying about death. But as archaeologist Charles Hyam points out, 2,000 years ago, 13 was a lot older than it is today.
Who can tell how long he would? Some people were dying in their 20s or 30s, and therefore it was vital for him to ensure his immortality immediately.
For the royal tomb builders, success or failure depended on getting one thing right: location. In ancient China, important tombs had to be built on higher ground, and a king's tomb had to be the highest of all. But building on high ground was no guarantee of success, unless workers could easily dig it dozens of meters deep. The tomb builders picked a site 89 kilometers from the royal capital, on the slopes of a mountain called Mount Li. What they probably didn't know was that the tomb they were about to build would be one of the greatest tombs ever built on Earth. Because the boy king of Qin didn't go to an early grave. He grew up to do something no Chinese ruler had ever done. He crushed his rivals in a series of brutal wars and unified their kingdoms into a single empire under his command, the Empire of Qin. In English, China. By 221 BC, he was the most powerful man in his world. And he knew it. He renamed himself Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China. And he wanted a tomb that would leave no doubt about who he was and what he had done.
What better way to project your limitless power than to have the biggest mausoleum, the biggest pyramid ever built?
For his tomb builders, the first emperor's triumph was one of history's biggest game changers. Now, they couldn't just build a tomb that was fit for a king. They had to build a monument to the most powerful man in China's history. Luckily, they were already working from a brilliant blueprint.